Good morning, everyone. It's Leslie Flowers, and it's the 16th of May, and we're almost halfway through 2025. So come on in. Today is a wonderful, exciting story, which is really relevant today. Decision, and I will sing you in as you come into the room. It will be 45 minutes, and so let us begin. Birds flying high, you know how I... Well, that's not going to work because I was supposed to sing that. Okay. Well, isn't that interesting? So my karaoke deal is isn't working the way it should. So I think what I'll do, welcome everybody, come on in. I'm dealing with my karaoke program, but I know I have plenty of things. So let's look at this one right here. I've only practiced this a little bit, but I hope you like it. We'll see. It'll be fun. Come on in. Get your coffee, your soda, your tea, your water, your champagne. Maybe you're celebrating. Baby, don't understand why we can't just hold on to each other's hands. This time might be the last, I fear, unless I make it all too clear. I need you so. Oh, take these broken wings and learn to fly again. Learn to live so free. When we hear the voices sing, the book of love will open up and let us in. Good morning, everyone. Let me double check that we are good over here on LinkedIn. Yes, we are. So I will be excited to see your comments. And if you see that the event has not started, F5 will refresh your screen. So I'm very happy to be here. This is my second week back, and today is a pretty exciting day. So I'm Leslie Flowers, and I have been sharing with you for a couple of years each Friday at 10 a.m. the things that have changed my life over the last 17 years. With 25 years in personal development and retiring after 45 years in corporate, I needed to find something that allowed me to get very focused on how to achieve what it is I wanted to achieve. Excuse me for... So it was at that time, after 10 years in, that I discovered Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich through Bob Proctor. And I've spent the last 17 years teaching people, primarily women and men too, what is it that the few people, the 2 or 3% of people who always set and reach their goal, what are they doing that no one else is doing? And that is how Think and Grow Rich, the #2 bestseller of all times in personal development, written 100 years ago, second only to the New Testament, and all your personal development greats today, their programs are steeped in the principles of success. Now, Andrew Carnegie, over 100 years ago, met Napoleon Hill, who was a 19-year-old cub reporter. And this is all about the stories and the concepts, this particular series in Think and Grow Rich. And Good morning, Peter. So happy that you're here. I was beginning to wonder, and so there you are. Hi, Peter. Thank you for being here. You're the first. Um, so I know everybody's excited, and so Peter is here because Peter already knows these things inherently. Most of us understand a lot of this, but it is in the application and the implementation where the real results happen. So a lot of people know a few things, for example, about achievement, but they don't always have the results that are consistent to edify themselves. So I can help you with this, but I may not know enough. And the beauty of our country is we can go and teach whatever we want. Sometimes, though, we end up paying for the other person who's teaching to learn, right? So it's really important to look for results. Talk is lovely, but you want to see the results. So let's see who else is here. Leanna is here. So glad. Well, Nicole isn't here unless she's in the comments, and I hope she is, and which means her name will show up here very shortly. So Leanna, thank you so much for being here. And here we have Elizabeth Boriquez, who is a nurse and an author, a multi-book author, and also a clinical hypnotherapist. So thank you all for being here. Okay, so a little bit more about, today is decision. And so Andrew Carnegie wanted to know what in the world is the distinction between 2 or 3% of people who are wealthy, happy, and healthy, and all the rest of us. Right. Because being wealthy, happy, and healthy, wealthy meaning riches, family, love, happy, and this is all determined by your own view. So what success is to you is to you, not to anybody else. So your idea of success is going to be different than mine. And that's the way it should be. So we established by what we see actually what success is. So for me, it's wealth, health, and happiness. It's a nice, well-rounded balance, but there's plenty of downs with the ups. And that will come up today at the end of the chapter on decision, because Napoleon Hill, even 100 years ago, referred to universal laws. And I teach them too. So the idea here is when you understand the principles of success, and that's why I'm teaching you this, and you understand universal laws that always work, whether you know about them or not, you will find that there's actually a very simple process. And that's what I've been doing for 17 years is what is the process for wealth, health, and happiness to set and achieve your goals every time, not haphazardly now and then. Because what we know for sure is that confidence is a byproduct of consistent achievement. So you can't get up on stage and do something phenomenal and feel really great, and then the next time be a failure, and then the next time do great, and the next time not so great. There is a way, there's a process, and it's one of the universal laws that will have you take an idea and bring it into physical form. Now, which is manifestation. And so your idea could be wealth, health, and happiness. It could be a certain amount of money. It could be a kind of a relationship. It could be spirituality, whatever it is you're working on. But ultimately, in Think and Grow Rich, all he talks about is being in service. The underlining common denominator to all of this is that what it is you want serves others before you. And that is a big challenge. So Napoleon Hill at 19 went out with the connections from Andrew Carnegie because he connected them with Ford, Rockefeller, and lots of people. But he didn't pay him. There was no salary. And Napoleon Hill spent 20 years interviewing up to 10,000 of our citizens, but focusing on 500 that he went to repeatedly to track their progress and to develop these principles of success. Now, if you've done anybody else's work in personal development, you will notice these principles. If you've been listening with me and learning with me and applying this, then you're going to say, oh, that's out of Think and Grow Rich. That's right. Because these principles of success made Napoleon Hill the 20th century greatest reporter on success. But he didn't really know anything when he started, and he made a lot of money through his connections. So let me see who else is here. Here is Savannah. Thank you, Savannah. Thank you for being here. This is a fast 45 minutes. And Leanna, and I've already said hello here. All right. Now, if you want to invite someone in, because this is decision, the mastery of procrastination, all you have to do is click the three dots under the screen, view event details, and go to share, and you can repost it on your feed. You won't lose this screen. It'll get smaller over to the side while you do that. Okay, so I want you to ask any questions, ask any clarifications, and just know that I love this work. And in 2013, I took this work to women. And in 2014, I wrote my bestseller, Champion, 21st Century Women, Guardians of Wealth and Legacy, because women were coming in like crazy into business, but we didn't have a clue how to go toe to toe with men. Because our behaviors and our skills, while strong, were all based at home, managing, taking care of boo-boos, figuring things out like that, while the men were out doing the work. So there's two different environments. And so I started in 2013, and I have now done 65 12-week courses for men and women, but primarily women, so that they would be able to speak up and learn the things that men knew inherently because they've been running businesses for 5,000 years. So that was my joy. And I've taught this material every week for 17 years. And I've done some magnificent things because once you understand these principles and you apply them, it's extraordinary. The magic of the universe unfolds. So let's get into this. I've already talked for a couple of minutes and messed up my song. There's Chris Pinadella. He's in medical devices. Hey, Chris, so glad you're here. So I'm going to begin now with a quick recap, because this is a 12-week series, and there is my lovely from Belgrade, Mariana. Thank you for being here, Mariana. You missed the first 15 minutes where I totally botched my song, and it doesn't matter. Okay. It really doesn't matter. So let's go ahead and get started, okay? So we're going to first look at this. Let me get this big. Okay. Oh, and there's Lisa. Hi, Lisa, my Sagittarius sister. She's a registered dietitian and is very, very good with what to eat during the menopause years. But hey, she also helps us all eat more healthy anyway. I think if we all ate the menopause diet, we'd all be slim and thin. I don't know. So glad you're here. All right. So briefly, this book and these principles are linear. So it is the kind of thing where you don't pick up one chapter and then another chapter, unless you've already read it and then you want to read it repeatedly. The key here is not to read beyond, but to read again. Because you will learn, and what we've learned is that auto-suggestion, self-suggestion is how we learn, how we develop beliefs, and then pure faith. Beliefs and faith are different. They're distinct from each other, but we interchange the words. I believe this, I have faith in this, but there's a really big distinction, which I shared in week 3. So anyway, when you start this study, and even if you go back and just watch the videos and start at the beginning, you must read the introduction and understand definite purpose. All of it is built on a specific thing you want. One thing. Now, I use 12 weeks because that's about as long as people will stay, including myself, motivated. And I don't want to do more than one because I won't be able to watch the process and the rest of my life isn't going to be as enjoyable. You really only need one goal. And you really only need to spend about 45 minutes a couple times a week to implement it, to immerse yourself into it. It's not that hard, but you have to be focused. You have to be ready and willing to do it. And if you're not, then don't do it. But you'll know when you're ready. So, definite purpose is a clear purpose. What is it you want? Why do you want it? It's got to be steeped in desire. It has to outwit all your fears because you've never done it before or you've failed at it before. That's one of the 12 laws of achievement, that you don't know how. And that goes against everything, right, in your belief system based on fear. Well, I'm not going to look very good if I don't know how and I fall on my face. So that definite purpose is critical for the whole process. It has to be, you have to be so sure that you're going to do this, even though you don't know how, because it's going to have a huge impact, sure enough, to outweigh your own fears. So let's assume, and that's not even one of the principles, but if you don't have a definite purpose, the train don't even bother getting on the train. So read the introduction several times. This isn't about reading a lot. It's reading a little and studying it rather than just reading. And that's why I'm doing this series. And I do the concepts, we do the stories. There's all sorts of fun and interesting ways to look at each one of these principles. And every time you come and hear this, you're at a higher level of conscious awareness than you were the last time. So you begin to see things. Things get clear. Out of confusion comes clarity. So you may have been grappling with a particular idea for a long time, and then something that's said today, all of a sudden the light bulb goes off because you were ready. But before you weren't. But we're always growing in conscious awareness of our infinite potential, or we're disintegrating back, or we're moving back to our comfort zone. So it's like this, right? This is one of the laws of rhythm, just like the tide. So it's okay that you slip back, but your aspiration is to always grow and learn. Once you've got that, then the very first principle of success is desire. Now you fall in love with it. Now you've got 12 weeks and you love this thing. You're the one to do it. It's your only goal. You don't care about your fears. You don't care about what anybody else thinks you're headed for. You don't even know why or how you're going to do it. But you're compelled. You are co-creators with the universe. And feeling compelled is a communication with the universe. So the idea comes to you and it's so profound. And you just know that this is it for you. Right now, this is the goal you want to work on. Then you begin to fall in love with it. So each week you spend 45 minutes, a couple different times. You review the chapter. You have an accountability call, or you discuss with someone else. This process each week eventually develops faith. And faith is the only known antidote to fear. So keep in mind that in the end, we're going to talk about the 6 basic fears, but those are what we really have faith in. Through experiences and failures, which are natural, and failure is learning, actually. You won't learn something new if you haven't failed. I guess that's one way of looking at it. So let me just see who else is here. Oh, gosh. Hi, Dr. Anjan. Anjan Banerjee is a physician in India. Thank you so much for being here, Dr. Anjan. God, it's 14 hours later. So what is it, 10? Oh, my goodness. It's 2 a.m. I think I woke you up one time when I called at that time. Oh, my God. I didn't realize it. And there's Ashif. He's calling in from Toronto. Thank you. Thank you. I'm feeling strong and healthy. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Ashif is in Toronto. Yes. Mirjana is in Belgrade. I think that's Serbia. Forgive me for my ignorance. Okay. So, Mirjana, just confirm again, because I don't know my European culture as well as I might. Okay. So, faith is developed over time. And it really is, there's 3 levels to faith, which I explained to you. First, I'm going to give it a whirl. Second, ooh, it looks like it could happen. And third is, I know it's coming. So through this process of repetition using autosuggestion, the 4th week, information in spaced, repetitive intervals over time, just like your multiplication tables. You didn't do them once a week, you did them every day ad nauseum. It is repetition that is the first law of learning. Peter will tell you that that is how he does his weightlifting, although he's an HR executive. I discovered a couple of years ago that, and he really made this clear to me, that in sports, they already have this. It's not called Think and Grow Rich, but they know about self-suggestion. And you've done this too. When you've played baseball or badminton or tennis, it was practice. You got better and better and better. So that's the repetition. Now, once you have, okay, so then we move on into imagination. We learned that there are 2 kinds of imagination last week. When you get that wild idea, that's creative imagination. And as soon as you do, and you want to do it, and that's your definite purpose, and you have no clue, but you know you're the one, and the impact will be significant. You don't care that you failed at it before. Then you begin to use your synthetic imagination. So once you get this idea, your mind goes to work and begins to retrieve all the experiences you've had and kind of put it together with this wild idea. You still don't know how, but you do have the steps. So it's some of the steps, and you do not want to set out every step from start to finish. Because along the way, as you're learning and moving toward what you want, people and opportunities are going to show up, especially as you get close to faith. But if you're focused on the steps you created at an older level of awareness, then you're going to be grappling with the obstacles along the way instead of being open and available to people that just show up and you thought they were coincidences. Not so. You're actually the cause. So it's very important that you do not mark down every single step. A couple steps a week. Leave yourself open for conversations, people and opportunities that show up that just seem to have the answer to what you're working on. It's not a coincidence. None of them are. Okay, let's see who else is here. Yes, Belgrade is the capital of Serbia. Thank you, Mariana. Hey, Lee, love to see you. Haven't seen enough of you, but I see you're back on LinkedIn. We love you here. Get to know Lee and everybody here. And hola wumi. So that's a little Spanish. And so glad you're here. So glad you are a new friend and get to know one another here. This is every Friday at 10 a.m. All right. So we've gotten up to decision, and that's what we have today. All right. Let's see the time. We better get going here. So here we go with decision. Oops. I didn't want to do that. Okay. The first thing I want to tell you is that research 100 years ago with 25,000 people showed that procrastination was the top cause of failure of the 30 causes of failure. And it is the worst one of all of ours. And procrastination is really simple. It's because you didn't have a definite purpose. You see, procrastinating and being confused is when you aren't clear about what you want. So you're just kind of like a whirling dervish or a whirligig, right? You're just doing stuff. But when you have a definite purpose, then decision becomes very simple. And I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it. But it's all hinged on your definite purpose. Do you love it? Have you fallen in love with it? Are you falling in love with it? Are you focused on it? Have you seen people and opportunities, as far as faith goes, show up that you were sure were a coincidence, but wow, how did they know? Well, we'll talk about mastermind a little bit too in this chapter. And all of this is through autosuggestion You got your idea. Maybe it was from the universe. Maybe you just read something and the idea popped into your mind. All right, so let us begin here with the stories. There's a couple of things I want to share with you. There we go. Okay. Okay, so the story is about, actually, I'll do this right now. The main story that I'm going to cover today is the beginning of the United States of America. And it comes from 100 years ago viewpoint, so they were closer to it. Think about this, Napoleon Hill and all of his cronies, Ford, Rockefeller, Edison, all of them, Armour, the people that he interviewed that actually make up Think and Grow Rich, that became happy, healthy, and wealthy. They were part of the 500. He's closer and more in heart with how and what it took for the United States to be born. We don't teach this at this level. And actually, it's in the chapter on decision that you can actually read a pretty clear accounting of the process of what happened to build our country. And so you should have some insights about this when I share with you. But I do want to bring up a few people. The moment we start acting like life is a blessing, it starts feeling like one. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Gratitude, baby. Okay. So an example back then was Henry Ford. Now, he was able to make successful people make quick decisions, and they're very slow to change them, if at all. Unsuccessful people vacillate. They can't decide, if I do this, I could get this. What if I get this? I could get this or this. And if I get this, oh my God, how do I decide? You got to have a definite purpose. Everything leads back to that. And why do you want it? So as you get down the road and you get confused and tired, if you will, just remind yourself why. So if you look at Henry Ford, everybody told him that the Model T was the ugliest car. And everybody encouraged him to change the style. And he refused. Now, he was known as pretty obstinate. But before he changed the style of the Model T, he made millions. He knew exactly what he wanted. The same thing happened when we were going for I think it was a 6-cylinder or 8-cylinder. Can't remember. Must be the 6-cylinder. Yes, he asked, that should be right. Is it the 8-cylinder? Well, darn if I can remember right now. That's what you get from getting old. Anyway, Henry Ford was not an engineer. But he brought his engineers together after the Model T was built, and he said, I want you to make an 8-cylinder engine. And they went for 6 months, and they came back to him. And they said, it can't be done. And he said, fine, go back and continue working on it. And 6 months later, it was done. Any idea you get, you can accomplish, but you have to have a definite purpose. You have to be in love with the outcome. How will it impact other people? Another example was Socrates. Remember, he took hemlock poison rather than give up his values and virtues and knuckle under to those in charge. How many of us would be willing to do that? Are we willing to stand in the face of adversity for what we care about? All of us in the United States are having to deal with this wonderful country that I grew up in, that at my age, we made so many wonderful inroads so that our daughters and granddaughters had autonomy, right? We're able to vote. Things have changed. So that's why I love this story so much. Then also, anything big like this takes a huge risk. So if we can go here to take a look at what happened in Philadelphia. So I've got some notes here, so bear with me. Let me say hello. Hi. Yes, thank you. Good morning, Nicole. Good to see you here. All right. So here's what happened. In On July 4th, 1776, 56 men risked their lives. They were all ready to be hung by the British. So if we go back, it was like freedom or death. Now think about the courage and the level of risk, because what they were about to do could have them all hanging from the gallows easily. And a lot of times we think George Washington was the founder of our country, and he indeed, I don't want to take anything away from him, but in reality, there were a couple of other people that really had a lot to do with this. So in Boston in 1770 is when the British came armed in the streets of Boston, and people revolted. And this was the call to action for John Hancock and Samuel Adams. They wanted to eject all British soldiers from the streets of Boston. That was their definite purpose. And this is the beginning of the United States of America. Now, they demanded withdrawal of all the troops. Just checking the time here. Good. And England said yes. And they removed the troops. And Hancock and Adams hooked up with Richard Lee, and they determined that they needed to create letters of communication among the 13 colonies, right? Now that they had gotten this far. And so 2 years later, these three men, William Henry Lee, John Hancock, and Henry Adams, created that mastermind. And that's when two or more people, and it's one of the principles of success, get together to work on the same outcome. And mastermind is a magical experience. It's how, when I'm talking to you, I get ideas for you, or you get ideas for me, and you don't know anything about me. You see, ideas are in the ether, and they flow all the time from thought energy through us and back into a different form. So ideas are always moving. And if you don't go with it, someone else will. It goes back into the universe. You get the idea. So all ideas, consider, are already here. So when you get one of those creative ones, get happy. Okay, you'll know. Okay. So the British, when these three guys got together, the British were also doing their things, and they were threatening with fear everyone. And that didn't stop these three. And the British even offered a pardon to anyone in the United States that would lay down their arms. So Congress was started in defiance of what was going on. And Hancock and Adams created the Continental Congress, the first one, September 5th, 1774. And of course, then the signing of the Declaration of Independence came from when John Hancock asked Thomas Jefferson to write the Declaration of Independence. But before they got to that, they had no power, these three guys. They had no authority. They had no money. And I'm just looking here. Okay. So then on July 4th, those 56 men signed their name to the Declaration of Independence. Every one of them risked their lives. It could have gone the other way, but definite purpose, a deep desire based on faith, the high vibration that we know about now, the implementation of the concept of mastermind. When two or more people get together, they create exponential minds. And the last thing I'm going to share with you about this, I'll answer that in just a second. Thank you, Anjan. So the reason, the thing that isn't spoken very much in Think and Grow Rich, but all of this was based on the universal laws or the Hermetic principles. So you know that I talk about this a lot, and it is the principles and the universal laws that created the power, the intensity to have a win. But the risk had to be great. So as we in the United States are considering the pickle that we're in right now, and I'll call it a pickle because it's confusing. There is no definite purpose that I can see, and it's hard to get clarity, except to know that our universe is one big bundle of energetic love and always wants us to succeed. And I hold on to that hope because that's God to me, that we get whatever we think about the most. So for those of us who hold the highest regard for our country and everyone's country, if there are more of us doing that, we will outweigh those who are doing something quite the opposite. And that's the law of polarity. You're always going to have people that are against and for. We must build up our clarity about what it takes, even for us to do something amazing. You've all done it. How many people have quit a job and didn't have another job? Had an idea, but took the risk. What is it that has us risk everything for an idea? It's definite purpose. It's falling in love with the impact of what you're doing. That's why I do this. I love this. And every time I teach it to you, I don't have to have notes. I did take notes for this one because it's a little more complex. So, but I wanted you to see that this was first two men that said no more, joined by a third, put the British on notice. British said, okay, we'll get out of your streets. But behind the scenes, they were doing their thing while we were creating a mastermind and these letters between the colonies, which were the first states, and that was part of the Declaration of Independence. Let's just take a look here real quick. This is me right now taking risk for my definite purpose. There you go. If you lose track or you are disgruntled or you hit a low point when you are moving toward this definite purpose, simply remind yourself why. Go back to the definite purpose, because you can get halfway down the 12 weeks or whatever time you use and you can go, damn, why am I doing this again? Right? Or something else happens and you feel like you want to give up, but you must remember you are the one. You said you were the one. You are the one to do it. So congratulations, Savannah. That's awesome. And the highest regard for everyone's country. Absolutely. All children should be fed. There's enough money. I mean, I just want to shake someone, and I understand how this works. So I keep up with all of this for you so that I can find insights. I'm not judging one or another. I'm watching the polarity. What actually is it going to take? And out of confusion comes clarity. So hopefully this story, the intention here is for you to see something within yourself about standing in the face of adversity. Something maybe you didn't see before. Thanks, Dr. Anjan. You're welcome. Oh, there's Christy. Hey, Christy. Let me just see what Mariana said. That they were brave. Absolutely. Absolutely. They absolutely were. And this isn't the only example. Every country has gone through things like this, certainly democracies, but even I don't know about other kind. I know about this kind. Okay. I can't really talk about the other kinds. Are you sure, Mariana? Oh, God. Okay, hang on a second. Oh, yeah. Well, where is this question that you had about? Oh, here we go. Let me see if I can fix this. I hope you're enjoying this. Okay. That was 1492. Okay, when Columbus sailed the sea with the three ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. And in 1492, they landed in Boston at Plymouth Rock. So there was a couple of 100 years there, Ann John. Okay. All right, let's see what else we have. Are you enjoying this? Is this helpful? Any clarity? Okay, let's see what Nick says here. I took the risk. The purpose is I know I serve a higher purpose. Exactly. You know what? We can make things complex. I'm looking at the time here. We can make things complex, but we don't have to. Look at it this way. Our purpose is to serve. As we grow and learn new things, we'll have different vehicles to serve, right? We can work as this kind of worker. We might go to college and learn how to do this, and then 10 years goes by and we're into something else. But it's all about serving others first. It's people first, money second. And that is the hardest thing. So in terms of the subject today, let me come back to this. There we go. So in terms of the subject today, remember that successful people make quick decisions and are very slow to change them, if at all. How do they do it? They have a definite purpose. Something comes up to interrupt them, maybe a new opportunity, all of a sudden in the middle of what you're already working on. If doing that thing takes you directly to the goal, do it. But if not, say no for now. Keep the goal to one definite purpose until you complete it. All you have to do is tell someone, I'd love to do this with you. Could we talk again in a couple of weeks? I'm working on something specific. That's the hardest thing, is boundaries with yourself. Oh, it sounds so exciting. I want to do that too. But you have to be disciplined. And it flies in the face of everything we've not learned about setting goals. Nobody ever taught us how to set a goal. The best you'll see is do this, do this. Well, I spent 17 years figuring out the exact process, and I'm not holding on to it anymore. So I'm finding a way to, whether it's a book, whether it's a series, because I know exactly what to do for you to set and achieve every goal you want every time. I know exactly what it takes. 500 people have gone with me and walked through this multiple times over the years. Corporate, entrepreneurship, it doesn't matter. It is applying the principles. That's right. It's a no, but not for now. The hardest thing is going to be for you to say, oh gosh, this sounds so great, but would you be open to a conversation in a couple of weeks or next month? And they're going to usually say, yes, of course. And if they say no, that it has to be right now, well, if anything changes, I'll let you know. But right now, it's not possible for me. You decide. All right, let's see what else I've got here. So remember that successful people make quick decisions and are very slow to change them. Remember that if you're faced with an interruption in your goal, ask the question, if I take this on, will it move me now directly toward my goal? Is this a task that came up to take me toward my goal? Perhaps you thought it was a coincidence and it really wasn't. Maybe it is something. But the hardest thing will be to say no, not now. But you can do it. Why do you want to do it? Because you want to trap and embed this process for yourself. All right. So let me get back over here. We're getting ready to close down here in a minute, and I don't know what I'm going to do about my music. But anyway, here we go. So next week, we're going to do persistence, the sustained effort necessary to achieve faith. So of all the principles, they're not all on here, but of all of them, it's desire and persistence that are requirements. And of course, you have to have definite purpose because that's the seed. Now, there are 13 principles, and the more of them that you apply and use toward your life, the more effective you'll be. But you won't be able to have the life you want unless you have purpose, desire, and persistence. So we'll do that next week. Okay, Mondays. Mind over matter Mondays. This Monday, we're going to do something really exciting. We're going to measure our emotional intelligence. I have a scale so you can track your own emotional intelligence, whether it's in business or at home, whether it's in education. It doesn't matter what area of your life, but it's an actual way for you to see how are you growing. That way you'll be able to help your clients, your friends, your family with their growing in emotional intelligence. And Nicole is my co-host. I'm really excited about that. 10 a.m. to 11:30 on Mondays. And that completes today. And we're at 10:46. Let me just see a couple of statements here. I took a risk and left my toxic supervisor. Wow. Did you have something else? The question is that's a real risk if you didn't have another job. I mean, there's something inside you that said enough. Right, Leanna? We reach a point when we know our higher side, we're co-creators with the universe. We'll only take it so long. But our higher side will stand up for ourselves. And once you've done this, you can help other people do it as well. Absolutely. I hope that's what you all have. And I'll see if I can find a song. Oh my God, because this is supposed to be karaoke. Let's just see if there's anything else. Here. I hope you've enjoyed this. Well, goodness gracious. All right, well, it keeps giving me the same. All right, well, here's one. We could do this one. This is good. So as you go out into your weekend, halfway through 2025, remember, less is more, and repeat what you've read. Here we go. And you can sing with me. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. It is a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day and the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, and I watch them all grow. They'll learn much more than I will ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh, yes, I to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh, yeah. Hope you enjoyed that, everyone. Thank you for being here. I just love being here with all of you. Come back. Hi, Stanley. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, gosh, as I check out, you got to get to know each other. And also, Stanley Green has a wonderful Wednesday telephone training, Power Thinking Corp. It's not on LinkedIn, but reach out to Stanley or me, and I will definitely connect you with him so that you can do this. I'm there every Wednesday morning at 7:30 Eastern. It is a wonderful world. So thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you, Mirjana. It's so good to see you and everyone. Yes, it is a wonderful world. Thank you, Elizabeth. You guys mean so much to me. Hitting the end stream now. Go back and watch this again. Secure this in your conscious awareness. It's powerful.